The world can be a fucking awful place. Famine, war, disease, inequality, human trafficking, and just brutal, violent murder. Every day it seems like humanity is slipping deeper and deeper into this endless chasm of despair, and with the introduction of social media, we can watch that happen in real time, 24/7 every single day. We're constantly reminded of this shit. So I think I can speak for everyone when I say that at some point it's time to just switch off and fire up Gubble for PS1. I'm talking about escapism, which is a term that's very popular in the online video games scene, which describes the way that games and art in general can sort of sweep you off your feet and immerse you in a fictional world where none of that awful shit exists, and you're just free to have fun and relax. It's the idea that games are an escape from reality, if you didn't fucking get that. And while yes, escapism is a perspective one can have on any medium of art, it's pretty popular in like the movie world as well. It seems to me like it's most commonly associated or invoked in the world of video games. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of movies that revel in the idea that they're creating these wondrous, magical, immersive worlds for you to escape to, but games with their increasingly immersive virtual environments that you can interact with and their necessity towards fiction are much more obsessed with the idea that they're providing this escape from reality, maybe even a second life, if you will. The longest time I've actually been pretty cynical about the idea of escapism, I guess because I've always seen it as being irresponsible or cowardly, if that makes sense. It's like taking the blue pill in the Matrix. Life might be throwing all this monkey shit at you. Instead of engaging or dealing with it, you'd rather play Valorant and yiff on a Discord call. It's like you're using this medium to distract yourself like it's alcohol instead of art. I just always felt like there were better things people could be doing with their time, or at least more interesting games they could be playing. You know, like anything would be better than just turning on a game to feel dead for a couple hours. While you can use video games for escapist purposes, I definitely don't think games exist to be escapist. In fact, I think they can and very well should do the opposite. They should make you engage even more deeply with the world, shitty problems included, and enrich your life rather than pass it by. Some of the best games ever made are the ones that tackle the hardships of life, or have the darkest themes, or tackle hot-button issues, or even give you an overwhelming challenge. Games are art, and they're supposed to have themes and provide you with sort of miniature life experiences. So I guess it just frustrates me that people instead see them as distractions or time wasters. All this being said, I actually don't want to shit on escapism completely, because I know what it's like to want to dip out of life, because life can be fucking unbearable sometimes. Maybe you just got your heart broken and you don't want to drive yourself crazy thinking about it. Or maybe you have a rough home life and you just want a break from all that pressure. Or maybe you suffer from anxiety or OCD and you just want your brain to shut the fuck up for a few minutes. If stuff like this is happening in your life, I can see why it'd feel nice to leave it all behind and jump around a beach as an Italian plumber for a few hours. Art is great for providing catharsis to people, and I think everyone has at least one story about a game or a movie or a book or a song or something that helped them get through a rough patch in their life. Maybe it just served as a well-deserved break from everything, or maybe it actually taught you something that helped you get through that rough patch. Maybe you went into something just wanting to distract yourself, but ended up coming out with a new lesson that helped you out anyways. Maybe you booted up Shadow of the Colossus to forget about the rats swarming around in your AC vent. But after playing it, you now understand what it's like to be a little critter fighting a giant man, and now you understand your enemy better. Coming back to real life, you know how to defeat them. And yes, the answer is to stomp. I don't know, I think what I'm trying to say is that shelving your issues can probably be a good thing, but it's all about balance. When Monkey King smells gas, he's in by the second whiff. The point where I think escapism becomes a problem is when games go from being a cathartic mini-vacation to a time-wasting dopamine loop. While writing this video, I was really tempted to just shit all over MMOs and live service Skinner box games. You know, the games that build in these huge overarching progression systems that are designed to suck in as much of your time as humanly possible by getting you addicted to them. And I do have beef with these games because I think it's kind of malicious how they hack your brain and manipulate you into spending money that I don't think the devs deserve. But I have heard stories from people about actually meaningful experiences they've had on these games, mostly because a lot of them are based around social interaction, and a lot of interesting things can happen with that, but also because they can be artistically adept and well made and fun to play, just like any other game. You can have moments on these games where you feel alive. There's just as much pieces of art as any other game. But that's in spite of their dopamine-fueled spreadsheet-ass metagame. So I think my problem with escapism isn't so much escapism itself, or the particular games people use to escape, but rather the mentality some people have in pursuit of escape. I think there's a cutoff point where a bit of good-natured, cathartic escapism becomes unhealthy and obsessive. That's when games go from being a part of your life to replacing your life and overriding the wide assortment of experiences you should be having as a human being. Another way to think of it is mindful escapism versus mindless escapism. Mindless escapism being the one that I have an issue with. The mindless escapist is someone who puts their virtual life above their real life. The first image that comes to my mind is of the unemployed gamer who spends all of their time on the computer. You probably have a stereotype of this person popping up in your head right now. There's of course the irony that this person is living their ultimate fantasy in the virtual world, while their reality is sort of crumbling around them. Obviously it's unhealthy because this person probably doesn't eat very well or get enough exercise or socialize enough, but also because they're choosing to live life as a part of this computer simulation rather than having this computer simulation be a part of their life. You know what I mean? And undoing that stereotype, this extends also to the sort of people who actually do have occupations outside of games, but spend all of their obligatory time thinking about the next time they can log back in and get some more dubskis. And I get that your job probably sucks and you don't want to be there, but I think you can see how depressing it is to think that the thing you look forward to most out of your life is to boot up into this virtual life. And the world of video games is not the only place where the mindless escapist resides. Social media and other media apps that deliver you endless timelines or feeds of content have been designed by fucking Nazi, Illuminati, bug people scientists to hack your brain and take as much of your attention as physically possible and make you care about shit that usually is not worth your time. Even with like work, while it's absolutely a good thing to be productive and value what you do, you can definitely take that too far and make your whole life about work. And for some people that can mean dedicating yourself completely to your job and never going home. Or for others it can mean clocking out and bringing your work home with you. So you kind of go home but you're always dwelling on your work and thinking about it and you're just in your head the whole time. And I feel like I've probably sounded kind of preachy throughout this whole video because I'm condemning all of these lifestyles and decisions people make. So I just want to clarify that I myself fall into all of these vices as well. Video games, social media, workaholism, porn. We're all stuck in the same gutter just trying to crawl our way out. Because when you go through life and you're constantly preoccupied with shit, you're missing all the stuff that's happening around you. Well, I do think you should absolutely continue playing games and experiencing art because I think those things can make you feel more alive. I think you should find other outlets of experiencing life as well. Maybe that's picking up a hobby or a craft or a casual sport. Just making yourself a more well-rounded person. Your job sucks. I hope you find a cooler one, or just find a way to enjoy your current one more. Either that means befriending your coworkers and building more rapport with them, and making your workplace a place you enjoy attending more, or maybe that's blowing manila spit wads at your boss's back. There's something that will inject more color into your life even when you're working in this place that you don't necessarily love being in. But above all these things, work and recreation and games, I urge you to learn how to take a break and quiet your mind and learn how to be more present in the space around you. Yeah, I might sound like your mom right now telling you to go outside and play, but just know that I'm not trying to patronize anybody. You're not a bad person because you play too much Dota. I just think you'd be happier if you spent a little less time farming creeps and more time playing with the plastic buttons on the lid of your drink. Basically, just be creative, be spontaneous, do stupid shit, and enjoy your life. Because this world fucking sucks, and it's beautiful. I'm so fucking tired.
How many people hurt their fucking lives? They can't see shit.